Good day. Welcome to podcast episode 1. Our special guest for today is. Okay, thank you, Eddie, for coming. So our topic for today is cybersecurity career paths. So first of all, tell us who you are and what you're currently doing.
Okay, thanks a lot for inviting me. My name is Eddie, or Edward, not O. My name is Edward Nepolo, and people normally refer to me as Eddie, they call me Eddie. So I'm the head of department for computer science at NAST, the Namibia University of Science and Technology. And there we basically guide the university into achieving or assisting government into achieving national development goals and all this kind of stuff. How do we position? As you can tell, education is a very, very big component of achieving any type of national development goal. So we need to align our programs to make sure that they feed into what the country wants to achieve. So that's basically along the lines of what we do.
Okay. So what can you tell us about cybersecurity? Like, what motivated you to go into this field, and what background one needs to become a cybersecurity specialist?
Okay, for myself, I've my background that I studied, it was more on systems administration and networking. So my background is in those two areas. How I ended up in cybersecurity was many years ago when I was still working for my previous employer. I was the system administrator in that organization, and we were hacked on 2 occasions. Then the first hack, I think they hacked onto our telephone system, where they made calls to an amount of 900,000, almost close to a million Namibian, $1 million Namibian dollars. That was the first one, and then the second one, they hacked onto our mail server, and then they sent malicious emails and spam emails all over the world. And I mean, because my job was just to do systems administration, somebody else had to come in and tell us, hey, you guys, do you know that this is happening? And we had no idea, Since I was the systems administrator, I was so embarrassed to even make this report to the management that, okay guys, we need to pay this much amount of money because our telephone system has been used to make fraudulent calls and all that kind of stuff. It was a lot of money. So later I decided that we don't have a position of a cybersecurity person. It was many, many years ago, before 2014, because my first cybersecurity certification was in 2014. So this hack happened before that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I decided we don't have a cybersecurity person in the organization, and we can't propose for a cybersecurity person to be employed. What is it that we are going to do to make sure that this doesn't happen again? So I decided that, okay, let me be the person that makes the change, So then I started learning myself about cybersecurity, how to protect or secure the infrastructure and all that kind of stuff. And then when I thought I was ready for some certifications, then I did my first certification in 2014. And from there, I liked it, and I've just been going forward with it.
Oh, okay. So you say that you had to spend a lot of money due to the hack. So what would you have done differently to prevent such from happening?
We could have, back then as the IT team of that organization, cybersecurity was never really a point of discussion. It was always a by the way matter.
Okay.
If it even made it to the discussion table, nobody cared about cybersecurity at that time. So I think what we could have done different was we could have been more proactive.
Okay.
To say that before we wait for a cyber incident to happen, we could have put controls in place already, because we did have a firewall. The firewall was, and I guess for a lot of people, a firewall means we have a firewall, that's it, cybersecurity is done. It's more than that. It's more than just implementing a firewall. You have to to keep monitoring, you have to educate the users, you have to keep training, and sometimes if need be, you have to do your own pen test within the organization to see where are the loopholes, where are the vulnerabilities, so that you patch them before they're exploited by somebody else. So basically, those are just a few things that I think would have helped, or some things that we would have done different then.
Okay. So, in terms of cybersecurity careers, so what are the misconceptions there?
Okay, with cybersecurity careers, judging from in between then and now, I think one of the misconceptions is that cybersecurity is for the tech guys. You know, you need all this tech knowledge, or you need all these certifications to be in cybersecurity, or to be a hacker for that matter. But a lot of it now, modern cybersecurity is more on the side of what is social engineering. So it's not, cybersecurity is not entirely just for the cybersecurity experts or for the tech people. It's for everyone. Everyone has a contribution to make in the cybersecurity space. You know, more especially the people that are not from the tech background. Those are the ones that need to get involved more, because they are the low-hanging fruits. You know, I always say that hackers are like lions, very lazy people. They just go for the low-hanging fruits, the easiest targets. Those are the ones that they go for. And in most cases, the people that do not have background or tech background are mostly the ones that are easy targets. Yeah.
So, but why would someone in Namibia worry about cybersecurity or care about having a career in cybersecurity? Because whatever opportunities in the market, it's something that you don't really hear about. You can go through different newspapers and you not see adverts every week about cybersecurity. So why would I want to have a cybersecurity career? Why would I go into cybersecurity? What will motivate me?
Okay, there's a lot of things that can motivate a person into taking a cybersecurity career path. Like for myself, I was motivated to go there because of an incident that happened. Right? For a lot of people, you find they're maybe interested in running businesses and all these kinds of stuff. Maybe your business is going to encourage you to look for your space in a cybersecurity career path. But inherently, what is the driving force for a person to join cybersecurity is basically just because there's a lot of opportunities out there, right? Firstly, it's not a very saturated career path. There's very, very few people in the space.
Maybe the reason that it's not saturated is because no one really cares about it, and maybe it doesn't pay well. So why would I go and stress there while we have nursing, we have education?
No. So I would like to believe cybersecurity is one of the best paying careers in the world. So it's a good paying career, and there is not a lot of people that you are competing with, and you might be right. Maybe it's because people don't know much about it. That's why it's not very much saturated, but it pays well if you align your skills, your certifications, and everything together properly. You might just strike some gold into that space.
So, for someone who's interested in doing cybersecurity, so what are you going to tell them? Or is there a platform that they can go and maybe learn or maybe see these individuals, so they can associate themselves to these individuals?
And one of the requirements according to my observation, to make it into the cybersecurity space, you need association. You need to hang around people that are within the same interest. You know, learning alone is not going to make you a top security guy. Okay, practicing by yourself is not necessarily going to make you a top security guy. So there are various platforms, maybe not official platforms, or spaces which people can join for that kind of interest. I think there was one. I don't know whether it's still there. There was a group of if I can call them hackers. Many years ago, we used to call it hackers. You know? Now, we used to call it hectares,
Yeah.
and you know, we had the platform where we used to meet and discuss, and everyone would bring on board their experiences. Oh, last week I experienced this kind of thing, and I was able to mitigate it this way. And then we share all these things. Only through these platforms you are able to really make sense out of what you've learned and also build on what you learned. You need association, you need that space.
I think what I've seen as a challenge when it comes to platforms in Namibia is that at the beginning everyone gets excited. Now with time people start going on their own. Reason being that cybersecurity is something so confidential whereby you don't expose the weaknesses of your company or and others see it as more of like lack of skills. So if I say that we're hacked, many people will think that I don't know what I'm doing, I'm not good. So I think that's something that people need to remove. Like in Namibia, people need to forget about that. That at no point you'll be too good. With cybersecurity, you always have to learn almost every day. So having such a platform helps to share the knowledge with others, and again, you to pick from others based on their experience. So you can use others as a preventative measure for your company. So if you know that a certain company was hacked because of a phishing and which came from a certain email address or certain IP or certain country, you can come and put measures in place so that the same attack doesn't happen into your environment. But if you don't have a platform where you share knowledge, it becomes so difficult. So chances of all of you guys being hacked is quite high. So those are things that people need to learn from.
It's almost like a mini set. It's not an official set, but it's like a mini set, just amongst people that know each other.
Yeah, which comes back to what I mentioned earlier, that yes, we have a lot of these groups or associations, but the main issue here is that people don't share information. So you can have societies, you can have groups, but if people don't realize why they are there together, like why do they have to come in together, and it just becomes so difficult for you to achieve that goal, which is the knowledge sharing. And if you look at the different groups that you have at the moment in Namibia about cybersecurity or the different event that took place, you don't really see the value. So it's more of like, if I can call it that way, time wasting. You see, so it's more of just saying that I sit on this board or I sit in this group, but what value do you get out of it? Or what value are you bringing to the group or to the community? There's almost nothing. Okay, so next question that I'm going to ask is, yes, we are talking about cybersecurity careers. So first year cybersecurity, second year, third year. Now, what are the different jobs out there related to cybersecurity, or the different positions that you find in the industry related to cybersecurity, so that while I'm studying, I can tell myself that, okay, fine, there's penetration testing that one can do in the industry, so to become a pen tester. So what are the subjects that I should focus on, put more effort to become so good, so when I go to the industry, I'm ready? Because what you have seen is that people are done with their degrees. When they go to the industry, it's like they do not even study anyways. It's like they're starting over. So the issue might be that they did not maybe choose the correct path, or they do not know what to focus on, or it's maybe the industry and the education system are not really in sync. So those are things that you also have to look at. So what are the different roles that exist in the industry?
Currently from entry level maybe to managerial positions. Some of the most common, especially in Namibia, positions are IT security specialist. Those are some of the entry level positions, and you'll see that in the past couple of just out of observation, in the past couple of months, probably since the beginning of the year 2024, a couple of companies have actually advertised for these positions, IT security specialist. And on top of that, there is also others like cybersecurity analyst, and those are some of the few ones. And that is when you want to actually work for a company. But if you want to be working by yourself, you can also be a pen tester. Someone who's hired and working by themselves to do penetration testing for companies. Or maybe if you want to start your own business, which is actually also a lucrative business opportunity, because we don't really have a lot of pen testers in the country, right? And when I say that, I don't want to make it sound like the people are not there. It's one thing to have the people that are qualified to be pen testers, It's another to have a pen tester that is able to do pen testing. You know? That's the difference. So if a big company were to hire someone to do actual pen testing, in most cases they look into countries like South Africa and all that kind of stuff. So they still going back to the question, what are the opportunities going forward? There is still a lot of opportunities. There is space for people to to occupy in the cybersecurity space. And then to top it off, maybe you can go as high as Chief Information Security Officer.
Okay. So, how much will a pen tester make in Namibia?
Well, that would depend on a lot of things. The scope, the size of the organization that you are pen testing, and what you are expected to do. But a minimum for one job, you can take home up to 200,000 in one job.
Okay.
In one job. Yeah.
Now, if one today is to search for pen testers in Namibia, is there any platform where they can go and get all these pen testers that exist in Namibia, or how do you get them?
Honestly, there's not any that I know of. I don't really know of any platforms except for businesses, advertising themselves that we are able to do pen testing and all this kind of stuff. But I'm yet to see, maybe it's happening. It's just people don't speak about it. But I'm yet to see or hear of a company that is actually into pen testing and not just putting it on their website that we are able to do this. A company who's known to do actual pen testing. Like if we are talking about pen testing, there is no way that I'm gonna miss the name of this company, because everybody just knows that when it comes to pen testing, go to these guys.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the challenge that many also find in Africa in general is that the cost of making it to university is quite expensive. So, what would one do if they still want to go into the cybersecurity industry? They want to focus on cybersecurity, but they don't have money to make it to university. So, what would you advise such individuals?
Okay, it's almost a question of an egg and a chicken, For to get education, you need money. Yeah, and then for you to get money, you need education, right? So if we have to start as low as possible, there is free online courses. You can go to Udemy, Coursera, just so that you have a basic foundation of cybersecurity. And the reason that I would propose that is when you don't have sufficient funding to invest in your education, in a lot of cases you don't have too many shots at what you are doing. Like, you can't afford to fail, right?
Yeah.
So it's always nice to know that if you plan on, for example, depending on which route you wanna go, you wanna go academics or you wanna go industrial certifications. If you go the route of industrial certifications, maybe you wanna do your CEH. Before you sign up for that exam, make sure that you studied quite extensively and know that you only have one shot. Right? I mean, a lot of vouchers will give you a second opportunity, but you don't want to count on that. So I would suggest that you make you do self-learning. There is free online platform. Do self-learning as much as possible.
But again, in cybersecurity, you say there's nothing free. So why would I go for a free online course if there's nothing free?
Yeah, no. The thing is, you want to make sure that you have a good foundation before you actually take a shot, and it's one of the things that I've seen. People are unwilling to invest in the skills that they want to acquire. Like, you cannot want to be a professional cybersecurity expert without any form of financial investment into that interest. At some point you have to spend.
And I also think that we don't take risk, because I do recall what motivated me to learn, let's say, like web design, is because I had a friend that needed cash, and I could not give it to the friend. So, and I was part of one WhatsApp group.
A friend wanted cash.
Money, yeah.
Yeah, money, yeah.
Now, I was part of one WhatsApp group where we were discussing IT related things. So one student posted that they needed assistance with their final year project at one of local universities, and I did not know how to do coding or how to do web design, but I took a risk. I said, yes, I can help you. And day and night, I was on YouTube, Udemy, Coursera, like you name it, plural site. So I was going to all those platforms to learn how to do coding. Now the system that this student wanted was a library management system. So I came across a code on YouTube. So there was one guy from India that was explaining how to develop a library management system using Visual Basic. So to learn, I followed all the steps, everything was fine. Now the challenge came to a point where when you take a book from the library, in the systems you need to show that that book is not there. But that part he did not show it. So he said if you wanted that, you need to pay. But I had no money to pay. So then I did other research. I think it was on Udemy or one of the other platforms where same system was being developed, but using a different language, C#. So now I have to forget Visual Basic and go to C#. And it also did not continue, so I got stuck again. Then I decided, you know what, forget everything. Let me just go back to the basics. Then I started learning PHP. Started to learn PHP, JavaScript, cascading slash sheet, so that I can get this project done and get the money and help my friend. Yes, because the guy already paid. And I was so shocked to realize that after that, when I gave a project to the guy, when he went to present, he actually got 76%. And to him, I was a guru, while it was just a risk that I took. And through that, I started getting more students coming to me for assistance. So I think sometimes we don't take a risk. Because of the money that I was getting from the students, I could use that money to fund my certifications. So sometimes you just need that one opportunity, you just to capitalize on it, and it opens more doors. So yes.
Yeah, that's true. Because a lot of times people think opportunities come with a brand written on top of this saying opportunity one. You have to be able to realize opportunities. Sometimes you don't see it, but if you look at it and analyze properly, that could be an opportunity for yourself.
Yes,
like you said. Yeah.
So now in terms of certification, so what I'm getting is that you need certifications as well to make sure that you stand out. So what are those certifications that you can recommend to someone who's starting with cybersecurity, have never worked, but they want to have better chances of job opportunities? What are those certifications that they should do? If you can maybe give 3 or 4.
Yeah, the basic entry ones I would always recommend for CEH. Okay.
CEH.
Yeah.
So which is?
The Certified Ethical Hacker. CEH version. I think now they're at version what?
Version 12.
Version 12. Yeah. And it's good in a sense that it teaches you from the fundamentals of cybersecurity. Even though you do require a good background of IT. It of course it's going to be an advantage, but it's a good starting point. And then another one would be CompTIA Security.
CompTIA Security Plus, okay.
Yeah, CompTIA Security Plus. That one I'd recommend because I don't want to badmouth Cisco one. And I should tell
but
you
I think Cisco also has one. I think it's CSOP or something like that. I think they also have a security one as well. Yeah,
that
they
is
should
more
also have.
generic
Yeah, they have one even on cybersecurity itself. Yeah.
There was one that I was studying, and then I think a few weeks into that, I realized that this is just Cisco advertising their platforms. All their,
Also, they are not vendor neutral. Yeah, so they're just gonna focus on.
They are
Cisco.
just whatever they are going to teach you is going to be
Cisco.
like, no, for you to mitigate this, we have this Cisco thing. You have Cisco. It's not very gender neutral.
So what you're also saying is that it's important to do certifications that are vendor neutral.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd recommend that.
Okay.
Because it's not always going to be the case that you are going to be working in a Cisco environment.
Okay. So, but is these are generic certifications that you're giving, or this is because of a certain career that you want a person to follow within cybersecurity?
The CEH and the CompTIA Security Plus is more on the technical aspects of things. If you want to be, maybe at the later stage, you want to be a pen tester, you want to be a IT security specialist, you can take these certifications. But later, when you want to go into management, perhaps, then you can do things like CISSP and all this, which is not very much technical. It's more on strategy and aligning your
business
to aligning cybersecurity strategies to the
business
business strategies. Yeah, it's more in that case, but that's the one that I would call the Apex certification. Like if you want to go, really that route, then you can do the CISSP.
Okay. So now, what about someone that want to do cybersecurity, but they don't have technical background? They're just excited about cybersecurity because they see that there's a need for them to know cybersecurity, but they don't have tech background. So where would they start?
I would still suggest the basic CH because it introduces a person to not only the tech environment, but also to why cybersecurity is there. If you are just, for example, an administrator in an office, is that where the question is coming from?
Yeah, you see, let's say this person is into accounting, and they want to move from accounting to cybersecurity. So, what would they do for it to be easier for them, like that journey to be much easier? Which certification can they start with, or which training can they start with?
Okay, there is also other certificate. What is the Chief Information Security Auditor?
Or the CSA, CISA, yeah.
Yeah, you can.
So that's the auditing route.
That's the auditing part of it. Yeah.
But okay, what I feel like is like the easiest, not to say really easiest certification to do, but the entry level sets to start if you don't have tech background should be your Computer Security Plus, because that's where you get all your fundamentals. Then you can go to your CH. Then from your CH you can go, let's say, to Pen Test Plus, which is with CompTIA, or you can go with like OSCP, all those. Now for someone that want to become an auditor, I do see the need for this person to still do like Computer Security Plus, because you're going to audit systems and you need to have a good understanding of security as well, so you don't just talk as an auditor, because most of the times auditors use checklist and the tech guys, they already know how to bypass or how to fool these auditors, and which is not a good thing, because the tech guy want to show that he knows his job, while the auditor wants to show that you're not doing things in the correct way. So now these two need to come together so they can understand each other and achieve a common goal, so which is so important for the auditor to do Security Plus. He has foundation there. If need be, can even do like even an N plus, so he understands networking as well.
Of course,
then he brings in his auditing element. So when he's going to audit, it becomes easier. So I always prefer auditors that have technical background than those that don't, because the one that has technical background will understand. There was a scenario whereby one auditor was questioning someone at one of the companies that, no, why are your passwords only 12 character long? They're supposed to be more than that. Now, the sysadmin is like, why would I have longer character password? Based on what? No. The framework that I'm using to assess you requires you to have X character. So you are having a number below that. Then I was there listening. Then I said, okay, fine. I understand both sides. I understand the auditor's reason. I understand the IT person also reasons. Is that to the auditor, they're following the guideline. What is the framework saying, or what's the standard is saying? But to the sysadmin, there might be other reasons, such as maybe people in the company are maybe too old to remember all these passwords, and they might also be that they have MFA in place. So even if I have one character password that I have my MFA, I'm still more protected than the person that have 50 character password, but which the auditor do not get. So you have to be there and make the two of them understand, and make the IT person understand that you are using this guideline to assess them. So whatever you see here is like whatever your audit is based on the guideline that you have, that Excel file that you are having. So you're just going to say if they conform to the standard or if they don't. But again, you have what you call tailoring as part of your standard. So you can tailor the standard based on your business requirements, your business objectives. So I cannot just follow it to the dots. So after bringing the two of them together, I think that's where we achieved a good solution there, and both of them were happy. So that was a good thing to do. So for someone who's willing to come to cybersecurity and they have no tech background, I think doing Computer Security Plus should be the thing to start with, because at least you get those fundamentals.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Cool. So where do you see the landscape of cybersecurity in Namibia in the next 5 to 10 years? What are the challenges that people will face in Namibia?
Cybersecurity is growing very, very fast, and more so that because of these emerging technologies like AI and stuff like that. So I foresee a cybersecurity landscape in the next couple of years that is, to some extent, to a very good extent, just functioning on AI. automated here and also the opposite is also possible, like where attacks are automated and run through AI. So the landscape, in as much as it looks good on the defense side of things, because there is artificial intelligence, it also looks good on the offense side of things, because it's also a tool that can be used, to attack the cyberspace.
So, which means that the more we're gonna embrace tech or AI, the more opportunities for cybersecurity individuals. So there's a need for people to invest now in cybersecurity. That in the next 5-10 years, the jobs will be there and you'll be ready to assist.
Absolutely.
Okay, good. So yes, Eddie, can you tell us the highlight of your cybersecurity career? What is that project that is so unique about your career in cybersecurity?
Okay. One of the ones that really stand out, the one that challenged me, it's this company. It was at a time when there was a ransomware, right? So this company, they were compromised, and then these guys, they encrypted all their data and stuff like that. And then I don't know how they got to know about me, but they called me like, no, we heard you do this, and can you please come and look at our infrastructure? Then I went there, I looked, and I told them, okay, there's good news and bad news. The good news is we can improve your infrastructure. What I cannot do is that I can't recover your data from that ransomware, because it was encrypted quite well. And okay, so after that I did their whole infrastructure and all that kind of stuff. Shortly after that, this same company, they called me because they were blacklisted. Their public IP was blacklisted. They were unable to send emails. So then I had to get into this company and see why are they not able to send. Okay. And what I could tell from the firewall was there was a lot of ICMP traffic leaving the network. And for me, I was like, okay, this is strange, but what else is happening on this network? So I needed to find out, where is this ICMP, who's generating this ICMP traffic, and where is it going? So after days of research, I later discovered that one of the cameras in this company was compromised, and I think it was used it was joined to a botnet or something like that, and then it was used to probably send out pings and all these analysis attacks to somewhere else. Probably multiple others also, but there was one that I was able to to see that. So how I was able to do this was the first mistake, and these are companies that don't have IT people. They just we want cameras. They hire a company, but we want CCTV, not CCTV, fingerprint. This access control. They hire a company. They put. So at the end of the day, there is nobody within the company who's coordinating all these things. All these platforms that they're integrating onto their networks. So the people or the company that install the CCTVs, they put the CCTVs directly on the data network, and you can't. It's almost a rule of thumb for any upcoming cybersecurity person. You don't put those two together. Right? It's always recommended to have CCTV on and other stuff on a separate network, and the reason is that it's not always that you see people coming to upgrade the firmware of these CCTV cameras. So for a long time, they can be there for 20 years. The same firmware that they're using is the one. So these kinds of stuff. So that was one. It was compromised, and then I had to put some controls and to get the public IP whitelisted again. It was a hassle. And the people kept on complaining. That was one. Another one. This one was recent. Last year, just when I was on holiday, one company called me saying that no, they can't. Their website was compromised, and I think there were scripts that were installed on the website to run malicious things. So one of the key indicators was there was an email account that was first compromised, and then they were sending these things, Happy New Year, all these kinds of things. And eventually the website was taken down by the hosting company. So I needed to come down. So I communicated with them like, no, what is it from your side? What are you able to tell? No, the website is hosting malicious scripts, and before we can publish it again, we need someone to go through and remove the scripts. So my holiday was just dedicated to that, going into the website, scanning slowly and checking what scripts are there. Eventually, until I was able to remove the scripts, and then their services were restored.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So, okay, one last thing that we want to get from you is that what are you going to leave us with in terms of cybersecurity career path? So, what can you remember about Eddie being with us in terms of cybersecurity career path?
My contribution to the space, or
Yes.
okay. One thing, I'm an educator. I always want to teach people how to be good, better than they think they can be.
Okay.
When I train people, even right now, I do professional training on ethical hacking and all these kinds of stuff. And it's a little bit unfair to say, but when I train a person, I train them to be better than I am. Right? Because when I was trained, my first certification, of course, in cybersecurity was not an academic one, it was an industrial one. But there even though I got the foundation and the fundamentals of things, I wasn't really in a space where I was able to say that, right now I can actively contribute. My other one, the one where I think that I really learned a lot, was the one that I did in India, right? So that's where I really got to, things were opened up to me, that there's also this, there's also that.
Which certification was that?
It's a postgraduate diploma in IT infrastructure security, right? And the way it's the same thing that we were saying now in our previous conversation. Like it's always very important to integrate industry experienced people in teaching. They in India they were teaching us these things, but it was not most of the stuff that we're teaching, that we're training, they were not from that institutions. They were hired professionals from outside. So when these people come in, they tell you based on the projects that they've done. Like, okay, I remember the guy's name was Manu. We used to call him Manu Sen. That guy taught us things, and he's the one that told us that if you have to make it in this field, you need three things. You need, first of all, problem solving skills, right? You need analytical skills. You need to be able to pay attention to details, right? And all these things you need to do it in the shortest possible time. These guys will give us exercises, CTFs, you need to finish it within this time, and you have to do this and this and this. And it was almost next to military training, if I have to put it like that.
Yeah.
So to that point, that is when I discovered that I actually am able, or I'm capable of more than I think I can.
Okay.
And that is the same thing I try to train the people that I'm training now. Like, you are capable of more than you think you can. Of course, I won't be able to put them through the same training that I received that side, but I can, I can try to some extent. So that is basically, my contribution. I try to educate people.
Thank you.
To that extent.
What I always say when it comes to cybersecurity, I believe the best skill that one can have is critical thinking.
Yeah.
So if your critical thinking is zero, chance of you being good in cybersecurity is very low, because you face different challenges and you need to be able to think outside the box. So critical thinking, to me, that's the number one skill any cybersecurity can have. So thank you so much, Eddie, for coming. Hope to host you again in near future. So have a good day.
Thank you for inviting me.